Welcome today, guys. So we're going to be on the floor today. So again, this is my Teach the World to Sing series. So again, make sure you're subscribing and following. I'll post on my social media, so you can follow me on any platform that you also happen to be on. So we're going to jump into our breath work today. You might notice, Alex, you're on the floor. Why are you on the floor? Well, we're on the floor today because we're going to work on some breathing, and we talked about getting our chest out of it and letting us breathe down into our torso, kind of more into our core, expanding into the back and all of that great stuff. So we're going to go ahead and work on that. For today's breathing, we're going to breathe in short, exhale long like we did last time, but what we're going to do with that is breathe in for just 4 counts, okay? That's a lot more than you get in many songs that you sing. Sometimes you get like half a beat or a quarter of a beat or an eighth or a 16th. So you really have to make sure that you're being efficient with your breath and regulating how you're breathing very well. So what we're going to do is just breathe in for 4 and then exhale for 4. Then we'll breathe in for 4 and then exhale for 8. And then we'll breathe in for 4 and then we'll exhale for 4 again. And then we'll just do that 2 times. So I'll demonstrate here. So we're going to go and then out for 4. And then in for 4. And now out for 8. All right, very good. So go ahead and try that a couple more times. And the next thing we're going to do is work on laying on the ground. So this might seem kind of weird, but the purpose behind it is so that you can really get your chest out of it and feel yourself breathing into your core. So you're going to notice your stomach rising, and it's going to be really easy not to worry about your chest because gravity is pushing you down. And a lot of times we have to resist gravity, so when we breathe, we're just naturally kind of moving all this. So I'll go ahead and lay down now for you. Alrighty. So we're laying down. And we'll just start with the same thing we just did. So you breathe in, and just watch my core here. We're going to breathe in. And just get used to feeling that. Just feel how this all expands and how your breathing feels different while you're down here on the floor. To me, this seems a lot easier, actually. So now we're going to go right into our exercise. Okay, so remember that. So breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4, breathe in for 4, breathe out for 8, and then we're going to breathe in for 4 again, and then out for 4 to finish. All right, so while we do this, remember, keep track of how this feels. Get used to the feelings. So that's what you're trying to do, is recreate those consistent feelings throughout your body. So here we go. So breathe in for 4, and out. In again. And 8. All right, so very good work there, guys. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take that same exercise and we're going to make it a little bit more similar to actually singing. So you're going to breathe in for 1, then exhale for 4. Breathe in for 1, exhale for 8, breathe in for 1, and then exhale for 4 again. And then that will wrap up our breath work for today. All right, so here we go. In for 1. In. Now, on that one, I'm going to pause because I can actually start to feel my diaphragm pushing more. So if it helps, you can push your hands, your fingers right around where your ribs are and just kind of feel just below them. And you'll start to feel that muscle kind of works there. And you feel your core working. You should feel kind of all these abdominal muscles that wrap around your body start to engage as you do this. All right, one more time. All right, and breathing in, out, in, alrighty. All right, so in for 1, out for 4, and done. All right, so that's our breath work for today. Again, we're trying to move more into breathing for singing, and that oftentimes means breathing in when you don't have much time, which means you have to be efficient with how much air you're getting into your lungs. Now, we're also on the floor today because we're going to work on projection. So not the kind that your friend or your brother or sister might do when they're upset with you, but the kind that we do from our stomach. So it's a difference between speaking down here and speaking up here. So my voice gets louder, but I'm not yelling, right? That's a totally different type of use for your voice. Projecting is just pushing a little more firmly, being solid, and not like really shouting and trying to get that voice going as hard and as loud as you can, because that's not what we want here. We just want a little bit more projection to have a full sound. A lot of that has to do with resonance, which has to do with the shaping in the back of your mouth and throat area. And again, we can talk more about that. It has a little bit to do with your nose and how you kind of shape your lips, because it's all about the shaping of the area. So that's your mouth and the total volume of it, and the sound or the air moving through it, and that's what creates the resonance. So now we're going to work on projecting. So we talked about this a little bit in our prior videos, and you need to use your diaphragm. Now, if it was unclear, what you want to do with your core is it needs to be engaged, but you don't want to be squeezing, you know, as if you're about to get punched in the stomach or someone's going to break a board over you, or, you know, maybe spend a little time on the toilet. But unintentional pun there. But what we want to focus on is just feeling the muscles engage, keeping them kind of tight, and letting the sound come out, letting the muscles do what they need to get the sound out, and not forcing it. Because once you start forcing, that's when you tend to run out of breath, your sound gets compromised for the most part. Sometimes you do want a little extra pressure when you're trying to create a little distortion in your voice, but that usually comes from compression up here, not so much down here. Because if this isn't right, no matter how hard you push, it just won't sound right. So now we're going to work on that projecting part. And we're going to lay down again for this. But this time, I want you to really flex your abs and feel that, and try to keep that same rigid shape like we talked about in our video about the breath, keeping that same shape, and let the diaphragm work. And on this, we're just going to use the same exercise that we've been doing, so humming and then going to our vowels. I'm not going to dictate which vowels you go to. You can pick which vowel you want. All right, so here we go. So we're going to lay down. Remember, feel this. Kind of get used to how that feels. All right, and then we're going to breathe in. Ma, ma, me, me, ooh, ma, me, me, mo, my, ah, moo, ma. All right, so that's enough of that exercise. I actually like the way my voice sounds better on the floor. It's that projection, just kind of getting all that alignment going. Singing in different orientations can help you get a feel for your body, just like doing any sorts of movement in different orientations can help you get a better understanding of what you're doing with your body. So that's that exercise. So now what we're going to do is take that same exercise And then we're going to move the pitch around. Again, not focusing on a specific note, so we don't need a C3 or B2 or a D1. We're just focusing purely on making the sound, letting it come out however it comes out, but controlling what we're doing here, in here, but more importantly today, working on what's happening down here. Okay? All right, so here we go. One more time, and we're focusing on projection. So for this turn, I want us to start quiet and then slowly build. That's called a crescendo in music. And then we'll also go down, and that's called a diminuendo. So my Italian's kind of rusty. Don't know much of it, just mostly musical terms. So diminuendo. So crescendo, diminuendo. So let's go ahead and let's do that. So what we're going to do is crescendo, so get louder twice on the vowel of your choice. And then we're going to diminuendo, so get softer, okay, on the vowel of your choice. Keep them the same if you can. So on this one, I'm going to go ah and I, just because they're related vowels, and then we're going to just keep them the same. So crescendo on ah and I twice, and then diminuendo on ah and I twice. All right, so here we go. So laying down. Go ahead and put those hands on your core if you like. And here we go. Ah, I, ah, I, All right, so I hope that made sense. It's weird how your voice sounds different in different places. Maybe I'm just projecting more now that this is all warmed up and ready to go. But to me, my voice sounds very different right now. Does your voice sound different? I'd be interested to know. Let me know down in the comments. So that's pretty much our work for today. We're just really keeping it kind of simple. Like I said, the videos are getting shorter. I'm trying to keep them a little bit shorter for you guys and a little bit more enjoyable. So in our next video, we're going to keep building on top of this projection, play with this throughout the week. If this is your first video, watch the first 3. Let me know what you think. What are some things you want to work on? What are some challenges you're having? Who's your favorite singer? Why do you sing? Why don't you sing? What are some questions you have? Some suggestions that you might have? Observations, anything. Let me know. And again, subscribe, follow me on my other social medias, and I'll see you next time.